You're watching the Youth Dialogue, and I am your host, Jenna Basonko. It's always good to be back. If you've been following my social media, you would realize that the topic that we have on the table today is the Day of the African Child. And I did mention that our guest is Lamin K. Sadi, Youth Coordinator, CPA. I think I got his title wrong on Facebook, so he was mad about that. But I guess we will let that pass, right? Sure. Thank you so much, K. Sadi, for coming. I really appreciate it. This is not the first time that you're coming to the show in relation to children issues. So it's always good to see that young people are in the forefront when it comes to all issues, children's issues, political issues, women issues. So sometimes when people say, young people, sometimes it's funny because I feel like if you take a look at young people closely, you would see that really they're in the fight against all of these things. So I did go outside to seek the attention and seek the opinion of young people out there in relation to what they think about the Day of the African Child and what the Day of the African Child means to them. So before we talk to the expert himself, Lamin K. Sadi, we will take a look at what children think in relation to this day. After that, we will start the conversation. So let's take a look at that. Stay tuned.
My name is Emmanuel Urimo Bunje, and I'm a student from Deeper Life Senior Secondary School. Oh, the Day of African Child means everything to me because I am an African child, and I feel proud being an African child because in 1976, the courage of the students that marched to go and fight for their rights, the right to education, really motivates me each time I hear it.
Hello everybody, my name is Fatima BCC, and I'm from SOS Hammond Minor Lower and Upper Basic School. As a child, the Day of Africa for the child, Liberation Day for the child, means a lot to me. It is a day I believe that all the issues affecting children in Africa should be brought forward and talked about. I believe it should be a day that we should reflect our minds on our problems, on our issues affecting children in Africa and everybody in Africa at large.
My name is Usman Seni Fofana. I'm 16 years old and I live in Bursubi. I'm here to talk about the Day of the African Child. To me, it's a very important day because it's the day we celebrate with the African children, and we get to honor the the students who came out in Soweto and protested against apartheid. Yeah.
So hello everyone, my name is Umi Mahanera. I attend a Better Chance Learning Center. Being an African child to me is when we are taught about our native language, oppressive education system, the slavery and the apartheid era. The Day of the African Child commemorates and makes us remember how they were killed because they were trying to fight for our struggles and liberations.
My name is Fatima G. Kamara. I'm attending Gambia Methodist Academy, and today I'm here to talk on the Day of the African Child. And first of all, I will say what the African child means to me. Well, let me just simply say that the Day of the African Child has been celebrated for almost 3 decades now, and it has been celebrated on every June 16 since 1991. Well, what it really means to me is that on this day, we discuss about the challenges and opportunities facing the rights of children in Africa.
I am Excel Babakaro Dungaru, and then I'm a former Kids Got Talent finalist and the first runner-up. So I'm attending Deeper Life School. The Day of the African Child means a lot to me. Yeah, it shows and it reminds me of the past experience of other children in South Africa where they were being massacred because they were trying to look for their right. They are trying for people to help to hear their right, and which resulted into a bloody massacre, killing thousands of them. So it reminds me of their bold act and their courage to go take up their right.
Celebrating it is very important, definitely, because a lot of children out there don't know their rights. So celebrating the African Child Day is very important. So the children can know their rights, so they can be able to defend themselves, or those that have been abused, molested, or maltreated.
Children should embrace this day a lot, because it is a day of commemoration to children and Africa at large. It is a day that, from this day, we should be proud of our heritage. We should be proud as Africans as well. We should be proud
we should be proud as children of Africa, and then encourage our leaders to invest in us since we are the future.
I feel like it's important to celebrate this day because it inspires a lot of young people to try at least make an effort to make a change in Africa, because just like I said, the students in Soweto, they came out and protested, and it was still remembered to this day, and that happened in 1976 or so, and it's still remembered today. So it inspires young children also to come out, try to make a change at least in Africa. It will make it easier for us because we know that we will be remembered.
This day also reminds us or to commemorate those who were involved in the Soweto uprising in South Africa, and they were and to honor the students who were killed in the protest as to the rights to an education.
Okay, the importance is that it helps other children to know their right, yes, and the others that are being infringed on, it helps them to know their right in general.
Welcome back, viewers. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV Youth Dialogue, and like I mentioned before we went for that break, our topic today is the Day of the African Child, and we have the youth coordinator of CPA here. So, Casey, after watching that video, what do you think?
It's very significant that at least children of the Gambia also join the continent in commemorating the Day of the African Child, and having heard from the various children who spoke in that interview really tells me that really African children, Gambian children are also, as per with their colleagues within the continent. They understood the issues. They know that they were able to reflect and relate the day to the Soweto uprising, and you had a lot of them said they were inspired, and that's the spirit. When they got inspired, certainly they will be able to encourage themselves and others to ensure that they stand for the rights of, for the promotion of rights of children.
Okay. Generally, KCD, I know you're the expert here, so I have to ask this question again in relation to why is it important for African children really to embrace this day? Because sometimes you have a conversation with some people and they would tell you, this is not our concern. These are just days and it's for the West. It's not for Africa. So really, what is the importance of embracing this day?
As the name implies, Day of the African Child, it reminds of the struggle that an African child went through. One would have thought that everything that children earn today was fought by adults, but the Day of the African Child taught us this lesson that an African child has been part of the struggle, and this qualifies the statement that children are future leaders. They are not only future leaders, but they also, they're leaders today because they have led before. They have championed, causes that, really paid dividend. The 1976 Soweto uprising is a clear testimony of that. When these children taught that, look, the educational system imposed on us by the then apartheid regime is not what really we desire. It's not what gonna move us to the level that we want to go to. It's not what really gonna help us develop and realize ourselves. And they peacefully went on the streets and said, we want to be taught on our native language, because that's what we understand. That's what we can relate to. And unfortunately, the then apartheid regime, in ensuring or in entrenching in their quest to ensure that the white supremacy is really, promoted and upheld, decided to massacre thousands of these children with lethal weapons, resulting to the death of those children. So the Day of the African Child really is a significant moment that, like I said, to remind ourselves that an African child has been part of the struggle. An African child has realized themselves, because civilization began in Africa. So that's what it tells us, that African children fought so hard to ensure that they are emancipated, that, the various rights are upheld and respected. So for me, it's a very significant day, just like as it was alluded to by these children.
Yeah. So Casey, you talked about the fact that that particular fight was about education, the fact that they wanted to be, trained in their native language and all that. But looking at present day, do you think that fight has been achieved as we speak? Because if you look at the education system still, these are the children still complain about it. Adults, some of us that pass through this education system, we still complain about it. So really, do you think looking at it right now, the fight really has been achieved, what they wanted to achieve really? Because looking at the education system still.
To a great extent, we got it wrong. Here we are talking about Day of the African Child in an English language.
That's the issue. That's the problem. We have a long way to go, it seems.
Absolutely. So there is absolute need for reform of educational systems in Africa in order to live the spirit of the 1976 Soweto uprising. However, it's also important to note that a lot of efforts have been undertaken by respective African countries. We know, for example, in some countries like Nigeria, in Ghana, we have languages like Swahili being taught in Kenya and so forth. So of recently, the Gambia also started the native language.
For some reason, but I'm not seeing it anymore. I don't know
Gambia
what went wrong.
It's happening. For example, I think currently the main languages, local languages, have been taught in our schools, in our primary schools, like Mandinka, I think Wolof, Jola. I think I stand to be corrected. I think Sarahule. So these languages are now taught in our schools. But what dominates? What dominates?
Yeah, we all know what dominates, really.
Really
and what is the time given to that?
Exactly.
Like, what is the time allocated? What is the prominence given to it as well?
For such reform to take effect, I remember Honorable Sidia Jara has been calling for even in the National Assembly to speak in our native language.
Exactly, in the local language.
Because when we speak in local languages, we better argue. We better come up with issues, raise points, and so forth. I think some times ago, a National Assembly member, that was long time ago, a National Assembly member wants to take part in a debate about these street vendors around Serakunda Market. He struggled to express how those vendors obstruct traffic and so forth. And, while taking his seat and said, I wish, li mu nekon Olaf, nikon ay jaykati li fini tamate. So he would have really talked about exactly. Wa dina don wa ay jaykati, sorans ag
exactly.
But it becomes difficult for him to express
himself. Why man Senegal, sen parliament
they do. So that's why I'm saying, a lot of efforts have been undertaken, but we still have more challenge because even though in the Gambia, in our schools, the local languages are taught, but our official language remains English.
Exactly.
As you have to write in English. In Parliament, you cannot use local language. In our official correspondence, you cannot go to meetings and speak the local language. It has to be English.
Even if you speak a local language, it's termed as disrespectful.
In particularly at meetings. So the Soweto uprising should not be seen as a mere demand from South African children. It has to be something that we value. It has to be something that we believe in. We have to believe in the spirit.
And how well are we working towards it?
Because for one to assess that we're working hard towards, it has to be informed by policies. And for me, this is a personal position. I have not really seen this issue coming out in policy documents that look, we need to have this. If you look at our educational, policies here and there, it's not standing out clearly. Because for me, before we could say this is gaining prominence, it has to be legislated, for example. Because when issues are legislated, the greater extent, the chances are that you can hold duty bearers to account. For example, if it is in law that, in our schools, it is compulsory that local languages are taught, I stand to be corrected. I'm not sure anything of that. But so then we can hold the government to account that, look, by this law, you've promised that you're going to do A, B, and C. So that would be a starting point for a lot.
Yeah, but Casey, we've seen laws that are put on the table, laws that we can use to hold government accountable. And they have not been implemented. They are not being enforced. I
agree.
So to me, do you think really that is the way forward, to have them in books? Because we have laws in books that we are not enforcing.
The importance of having these issues in books is that it is used as an assessment tool, it is used as an accountability tool.
Okay.
Unlike when it is not written, it becomes a mere desire. Now, papers ensures that, they give us an opportunity to hold duty bearers to account, to account. Now, I agree with you. We have a lot of laws. In fact, in respect of fulfilling rights of children, we have numerous laws in the Gambia. The 1997 Constitution, from Section 27 to Section 30, guarantees rights of children to respective issues. For example, Section 28 talks about rights of children. Section 30, right to education. You name them. Rights of persons with disability. We have the Sexual Offences Act. We have the Tourism Offences Act. We have the Children's Act of 2005 as amended in 2016. The Women's Act of 2010 amended in 2015. So we have all these laws, and they all have bearing on lives of children. But what are we seeing?
Exactly.
We have the Children's Act that prohibits child labor, for example.
Yeah, we will come to that. Yeah.
Exactly. So all these legislations are in place. But what happens is the issue of enforcement. But now, as a civil society organization, it gives us an opportunity to hold the government to account, to say, look, this is what you commit yourselves to do. But because the Gambia is also part of the international community, they have signed and ratified the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child, the African Charter on the Rights and Welfare of Children. The beauty is that if the government fails to promote or upheld rights of children to anything, the individual or civil society organizations can take up a case against the government of the Gambia to international bodies.
Have a case ever been taken up against the Gambian government to the international community? Has that ever happened?
In respect of children issues,
yes.
I know I'm not aware of any legal issue. I know the Institute for Human Rights and Development in Africa, led by GESO. I know that institution have been doing a lot within the other African continents, but for whatever reason, no legal case has been brought against the Gambia yet. But we're sure now with the new dispensation, but we also have to factor in the political climate at the time. So we believe in the saying that, look, at least we're moving with the government to a greater extent. We're able to pursue a lot of issues. So it was, as a result of that, we're taking issues gradually. But I know at this point, now that even though the Gambia is yet to also ratify the optional protocols to the CRC in respect of reporting procedures here and there. But we hope we'll be there now. At least institutions will initiate cases.
Okay. Yeah. Looking at the issues that has to affect children, comparing the two regimes, the Barrow government and Yahya Jammeh's era, today, because Barrow is here for 3 years, so I guess a little assessment can be done. So looking at these particular two governments today, if you're supposed to do a comparison, which government gives better attention when it comes to children? Because I know during Jammeh's time, he did come up with some of these laws, the FGM, the child marriage. So right now, give me an assessment, because I guess if we do this, then it will push the present government more to do certain things.
On legislative matters, I know all these laws that I mentioned happens in the during the then government, until the amendment of the various acts. Like the Children's Act was amended to prohibit child marriage. The Women's Act was amended to prohibit FGM. So all those laws, in terms of legislation, all these things happened in that regime. And what was also manifested during the then government was that there was this political will. For example, Yahya Jammeh can stand, and he took some of these issues at a personal level. That look, because I remember the issue, why the issue of FGM and child marriage comes, particularly child marriage comes, and rape issues. When the then First Lady was launching her foundation, some of the children who went there spoke extensively about, the frequent occurrence of violence against children, particularly rape and what. And to that effect, he declares a presidential, degree or pronouncement that, look, effectively anybody who rape a child will be sentenced to death. So that was highest of political commitment. And we also had him make pronouncement about FGM and child marriage. So for whatever reason, I don't know what was the motive,
yes.
but I know the political will
was there. Okay.
Really, the political will was there. And we have seen rapid enforcement of provisions.
At that time?
Those issues at that time. Anything that, comes from.
Okay, how about now?
Now, institutions have been utilized.
Okay.
Institutions have been utilized.
Okay.
People are now, resorting to litigation. People are now using the court systems, to seek for redress. We've seen matters now being reported to police, and follow-ups are done. We've seen the creation of a ministry for children affairs that has been called for a long time ago. In the previous regime also, one of the challenges that we have was reporting to treaty bodies. Now, it's one thing to ratify legal instruments, but another thing to also report on the progress that you're making. For example, the African Charter, since its ratification, 20 years plus, Gambia has never reported to the treaty body, because they're supposed to, periodically report to the African Committee of Experts on the Rights and Welfare of Children. But we've not been reporting. For the UN Charter, we've been reporting to the UN Committee on the Rights of Children. I know for CEDAW as well, Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination against Women, the Gambia has been reporting. But for the African, and this is our own institution here.
Yeah.
That's the bigger question here now. That's our own institution. The African Committee of Experts is established by our own, governments, and So
it seems there's a lot of room for improvement.
There is a lot of room for improvement. But enforcement of laws is the biggest problem.
Yes.
Now, if you walk out of this place, just from this studio, you will come across children who are selling on the street.
Exactly.
And that becomes a recipe for abuse and exploitation.
Exactly.
So
what is the CPA? What is CPA doing in relation to that? Because it's rampant, and due to the COVID-19, especially, we've seen that it's rising because they are not going to school. All they do is to hit the streets and sell. And the reason why the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education did that particular closure for schools is because they want kids to stay at home.
I did extensively spoke to your colleagues yesterday about in commemorating this day against child labor.
Yes.
I form an opinion that the child labor is an issue. I don't know whether there is an element of politics. I wouldn't really know. But one thing I know is that one of the challenges that we have is statistics. Two is also about the laws frown at it. The Gambia has ratified the ILO convention prohibiting, child labor.
I think we should put the laws aside now and really focus on diga. Tangible.
Yeah, for us as institution, as a civil society organization, one of our working tool is laws and policies. And I told you the reason why we rely so much on laws and policies is because to hold the government to account. If those laws are not in existence, it's okay for any child to go on the street.
But the whole government to account.
Absolutely, we're doing our best. But it's also important that for people to know the mandate of the Child Protection Alliance. We're a civil society organization, an NGO, that our efforts are complementary to that the government is doing or is supposed to do. In this, we conduct research, we conduct training, we do advocacy, we do lobbying. And yes, we've gained a lot. We've gained a lot. Child marriage issues do not just come to an end like that. In terms of legislation.
Child labor bi nga xamne
child labor
nga child marriage dafa nobu tay dañu nobu def yep ci ron waaw way child marriage sa bot bi yang child labor gis nga ko sa bot bi xalé ba ngay jaay mu ngi def nana di def everything li lo xamne la nobu wut ñu ko gis.
Absolutely, I agree with you. It all comes back to the state, because government bi ñoo wara put up a very strong social protection systems in place so that the argument by parents that dañ ñaka dañ lifin, I mean, my message to parents has always been this: suñ bëggee daxa ñaka dañ am pour jàngal suñ xalé.
Investment la man loolu laa dee wax investment la
dëgg la garantie wut ne soo investé sa doom ëllëg dina tekki but yow defal sa kente lay kara sa responsabilité la ba pare moom aham la lu war la si yow as a parent, and xale bi tamit dafa war a receive that support.
kay seedi gis nañ fi ñu ñaaka ñi nga xam ne
seen
doom yi xamuñ ñaaka bi ñoom dañoo dem ut si biti struggle ñëw jox leen ñu dem school.
comme lu ma dee wax rek la if you look at the child poverty survey, bokkoon naa si ñu bindoon that report with Jibos, with the child poverty survey was done, and it was concluded that because your parents are rich or because adults are rich doesn't translate to a child being rich. Because a child can be denied. And when we look at child poverty, we're not only looking at the pocket, we're looking at the stomach, we're looking at the education, and
feeding and all that.
And so forth. So child poverty looks at all those issues as benchmarks. But the point here is that the state has to put up social protection mechanisms so that those they can enforce the laws effectively. So this is the point there. Now, mandama nyaka munuma jangal suma hale, even though it's not a defense, but let's look at the reality as you wish. Comme lolu nga buga ñu wata, nen said diga ki nga xamne amut ko. I'm not justifying for anybody, and I'm supposed not to justify for even parents because by virtue of my profession. But let's also look at the reality. Amulo. And oftenly, most of these beggars believe that suñu ande ak xale nit ñi ñooñu la ñoo yërem to be able to give them. So that becomes your insurance now to be able to get something, even though it's just very wrong, because it's wrong in all ways. So government be suñ buggee enforce laws yi. Then you want to strengthen. I know the social protection program is running, but they have to strengthen that social protection program to cater for the poorest of the poor. The poorest of the poor. So that those children whose parent would wake up in the morning, take them on the street, to go and beg or to go and sell. For example, if I'm assured that Sisuba, at the end of the month, dina am saku malo, dina am tuti luma muna use pour dépense. That suma dom bi su febare wala man suma febare suma demé ci hôpital bi, I would not think about the money. Bu na dem ci hôpital bi faju. Weer bi su dé dina mëna dem place ma jël fa saku malo ak dépense tuti. Just hejna.
Dina
change sen wala dina bobu tamit su amé luma wax moy ne nguur bi légui kuñ tassal ci mbédé bi té ñu xamné yow at the end of the month ñu ngi la defal A B and C. Bobu nonu mën nañ la jël ñu ne la kon yow lay def da nga tétélu ñu teg la place wala ñu teg la loi.
man si man I don't know because man si man it's not a justification. Fine loolu exist na xam nga lu tax ma ne it's not a justification. Gis nañ fi yaay yi nga xam ne amuñ waaye ñoom ñooy dem uti dañoo dem liggéey gis nañ fi papa yoo xam ne dañoo dem dafi puus ñëw lum ndaw ñu jox seen doom yi ñu ngi suturaal seen doom yi kenn gisut leen si mbedda bi so whatever the case might be enforcement bi léegi la war a door kuñ gis ngay lii sa doom si biti ñu ne la du fi mën a am.
waaw man loolu moo maa gënal.
waaw du fi am
loolu moo maa gënal but maa ngi wax tamit.
comme
ban alternative la ñoo put up together. Because at the end of the day the state has the primary duty to respect, protect and fulfill rights of children. And in doing so ñoom balaa ngaa mën a enforce a law you ensure that A, B, and C is intact. But really, it's no justification. Anyways, pour ñu war a yónni xale waajur yi ñoom su ñoo dem di ñaan sara wala di jaay that's okay, but the child has to enjoy that childhood. That child has to go to school. That child, needs to grow because the other time am xale yu ma intercept in Bakote ñu ngi amoon saret saret mbaam la di collect mbalit and so forth. Jenaba, mbalit bobu nunu num don hesaway at that time. Really, munuma ko stand myself. And no other person around that end could stand it. And this hale ñu ngi ci biir mbalit bobu nunu. Di tok ci kaw mbalit bi di dem so mun nañ fa jëlé febar mun nañ fa jëlé lu bari. So degala in terms of policies we have a lot of things but in practice really it seems nothing is happening.
Zero.
Comme bu fekkee ne ñaaka doomi aadama la kanam bi jigéen la moo doon wala xaleel bu doonu jigéen dina doon xaleel like the face of poverty symbolizes
a woman or a child. Yeah. So we did interview the Speaker of the Children's National Assembly. So she talked about what she thinks about child labor, what really causes child labor, and calling on the government to put in place some measures in relation to child labor. So let's take a look at that. When we come back, the conversation continues. So before we come back, I want you, all of the kids out there that are watching and the parents, I want you all to have a book and a paper because when we come back, we'll be talking about child rights and responsibilities because this is something that we need to stress all the time because parents think it's a foreign idea. Parents also say children do not know their responsibilities and children are saying parents are not fulfilling some of the rights that they have. So when we come back, you guys get a pen and a paper and write some of the rights and the responsibilities that you are supposed to exercise. So let's take a short break. When we come back, we will take a look at that.
Child labor is something, is an issue that needs to be well addressed in the country, for the fact that we know that like child labor is any work that deprives children of or detriment them from either giving them like jeopardize them in physical, mental, or like anything, any hard work given to a child that he or she would not be able to do. It's something that we term as child labor. And like before COVID-19, we have seen a lot of children selling on streets and then doing works that are not at the minimum age. And like most of them, what we say is the cause is for the fact that like they're from poor families, and then their parents will ask them to go and sell, for the fact that if the children did not do the selling, it is very difficult for the parents to feed the family. And the second thing is like we have less payment of like free education, because now if your child is in school, you have to pay for the child to learn, for the fact that like we've always had like it's free education, but the fact is it's not free education, because if your child goes to school, you have to pay like the study fees, you have to buy books for the child, you have to like contribute a lot in the academical side of the child. And during this COVID-19, the rate of children selling on street has increased, because now like if at all it was at 25%, now it is at 50%. Because in this COVID-19 times, you and I know that people are saying that it's very difficult to live during this COVID-19. So therefore, parents pushes their children to go and sell on street without considering the measures that has been told to us by the HOW. So different children have different perception and mindset. But like for some of the children, they don't care, even if they're given that work. For them, because we have children that sells on street, but they do not know what their rights are and what their responsibilities are. So for those children, it's normal to them. If you do not tell them like what your parent is doing to you is not right, they will not know that it's not right. But yet still like we will still like work to address this issue on the side of children.
Welcome back, viewers. That was Sarata right there, and she's the Children's National Assembly Speaker, and she talked about rights and responsibilities, and this is exactly what I talked about before we went for the break. I asked you all to take a pen and a paper, because you need to know your rights and your responsibilities. So, Kesedi, probably we can have to we have to talk about this in a local language. So, sone rights and responsibilities quickly, right? Fok na ne li dafa nekk loo xam ne dañ ko war a stress, because still the debate is ongoing in relation to this.
Well, okay. First, let me try to break this down. When we said a child, who are we talking about? Legally, a child is any person below the age of 18. Moy kep ki nga xamne amagut fukki at ak juroom ñetta wala fukki at ak juroom ñetta wacc ci suuf koku la loi bi rañé ne moy halal. Légui suñ ne right kalama tubab la. Rights is defined as legal entitlements, things that are given to you by law. Right?
Dang ko wara am.
Wow, lo xamne dang ko wara am. Te because dang ko wara am because you are human. Ndik ne doomi adama nga motax nga wara am yoyu non. Légui nak rights yoyu non comme numa ko waxe rek karama lifin la angale la moy lo xamne dang ko yelo lo xamne dang ko wara am. Si bir lolu so sété si right xalé yi wan nañ bena suñ jëlbeen bi mu ne xale bu nekk am na right pour am tur bu sell te loolu dafa méngoo suñ diine bi sax understand because tur moom dafa am solo trop ñaareel bi ñu ne xale bu nekk war naa am dëkkuwaay ok ñëpp xam nañ ne xale bu amul dëkkuwaay waa housing wala shelter xale bu amul dëkkuwaay si mbeeda la moo nekk te su dëkkee si mbeeda ñëpp xam nañ lan la moo mun a jur tamit ñu ne xale bu nekk aham la pour ñu aar ko protection suñ aarut xale yi kon musiba dal suñ future and then mooy ne ëllëg duñ am ëllëg ndik ñu ne xale yi ñooy magi ëllëg yi kon magi ëllëg suñ ko yaaxee tey ëllëg du rafet so loolu tax na ne ba ñu war a aar xale yi si béppa fànn wàllum kaaraange si biir loolu waajur yi am nañ taxawaay ak ñeneen tamit ñu ne xale bu nekk war naa am mbëggeeli waajuraam yi right to parental love ndik xale yu bëri si situation mu dee grow mooy ne they grow up in a situation of hate because waajur yi dañ leen dee toroxal dañ leen dee teg ay métit ba léegoo-léeg dañ dee question seen boppa ndax kii moo ma jur so xam nga waaw so loolu façon xale yu noonu suñ màggee soo gisee lii yëpp ñu def ko right because su ñàkkee rek ëllëg dafa am lu moo jur xale boobu noonu mun naa doon ki nga mun naa doon koo xam ne dafa ekkati fitna dafa doon native fitna and so forth so moo tax ñu ne bugg a waajur bi parental love boobu noonu dafa am solo trop ñu ne xale bu nekk tamit aham la pour xamal ko diineem bi pour nga xamal ko diineem bi ñu ne xale bi la tamit pour nga xamal ko aadaam bi so ñu ne xale bu nekk war naa am xibaar information ñu ne xale bu nekk tamit war nañ koo jàngal so lii ak any other rights ñoo nekk si téere bi waaye because lu xew nit ñi xamuñ understand uñ suñ ne child rights ñoom pour ñoom rek mooy ne ñu ne tey moom sa xale bi lu ko neex la war a def waaye tamit lu ko neex la war a wax lu mu bugga nga ko war a defal ba tax na xale yi seen boppa tamit because kenn waxalul leen lan mooy seen right waajur yi ragal nañ buñ ne child rights teachers yi ragal nañ buñ ne child rights because am na teachers yoo xam ne sax believe dañ ne suñ ne child rights mooy ne xale bi kenn waru koo waxal kenn waru koo yar and it's beyond that in fact one of the rights of the child is the the right to discipline da nga ko war a yar naka nga koo yaree nag because ñun luñ far di yaree suñ doom yi loolu moo ñaaw ba nga xam ne miin nañ loolu because pour ñun luñ dee yaree mooy ne da nga bëgg a am authority yar bi la mbéj beeg yooyu noonu corporal punishment ak yooyu noonu xam nga ñu ne déedéet dóor du yar naka nga waree yar sa doom mooy xamal ko but waxalaa moom eeda ko wax ko ne lii baaxut bul em si rek bul em ne rek lii baaxut wax ko lu tax loolu baaxut because ñun noonu lañ dee yaree suñ doom yi lii baaxut waxuloo ko lu tax baaxut at the end of the day mu gis keneen di ko def wala mu gis la yow sa boppa nga koo def that's strong so moo tax luwaa bi dem na aar na xale yi si fana boobu mu ne lii yëpp suñ ko defalee xale bi xëj na ëllëgam dina baax so why because dañ bañ a understand lan mooy child rights ñu jóg naan waaw léegi moom ñu ne xale bu nekk lu ko neex la moo def kenn waxut jàngalul xale yi tamit lan mooy seen rights because we think that when children know their rights they will stand against us te dëgg la the essence of rights soo xamee sa right daf la dee empower daf la dee dooleel pour nga xam lan nga war a laajte ak loo warut a laajte su boobaa sa xamee sa right waajur bi dina am lu mu laa bañ a defal wala lu moo doxalee nga oo attention am ne ko ne yaa booy wala papa lii de moom nii la war a demee for example seek for the opinion of the child ñun ñaata si ñun ñoo dee waxtaan ak suñ njaboot yi seek seen opinion particularly matters that affect the family in fact benn principle si child rights mooy benn banxaas si child rights mu ne the best interest of the child lépp lu ñoo def nañ leen si jiital liy njëriñ xale bi because and oftenly let me just and oftenly ñun dañ dee seet lu ñu lu ñu gënal ñun and forget about the child and you oftenly hear that ñun yëpp xale lañ woon soo xam ne jaar nañ si si loo jaar utee na ak tey li the reality the current reality bàyyil xel benn góor wax na ma lii si benn training mu ne ma monsieur Seri mu ne ma bàyyil xel ne ñun waajur yi wala ñun kilifa yi wala ñun mag yi most of the time suñ boppa lañ dañ ci kaa gis before any other thing mu ne ma bàyyil xel ñuy cross yoon kilif mag buy cross ak xale yoon most of the time xale bi dañ ko put at the danger zone most of the time xale bi dañ ko put at the danger zone yow you are at the other end mu ne ma bàyyil xel loolu and I pay attention to this nga gis ne suñu cross yoon bi xale bi mooy nekk at this other end and you are at this
these are little details.
so comme rights yi xale yi bari na ba loi bi aar na xale yi ba tollu foo xam ne sax mu ne waajur boo xam ne xëy na waajur yu omba jigéen bu omba wala jigéen bi nga xam ne mu ngi nampal mu ne bu defee loo xam ne méngoowut ak loi comité bi bu yore wàllum aaxi xale yi dafa ñaax nguur yi particularly the African Committee of Experts dafa ñaax nguur yi ne boo si seen doxalin yi luwaay jigéen bu omba ak jigéen boo xam ne mu ngeen nampal bu defee loo xam ne méngoowut ak loi mu ne na ngeen impose non custodial sentence wala suspended sentence mooy ne bu fekkee ne sax dëgg la def lu bon du xëj na du ñaaka waaye buñ ko aatee buñ ko aatee dafa war a am ay yoon benn mu ne bul ko sen si kaso bi fekk mu ngi biir wala mu ngi nampal ndig soo ko senee si kaso bi fekk mu ngi biir yaa ngi ko sen kaso bi yaa ngi ko yónni si kaso bi yaa ngi ko yóbbu si kaso bi ak doom boobu noonu te xale boobu dafa am rights exactly is innocent ñaareel bi bu fekkee ne mu ngi nampal léegi détache nga ko ak waajuraam bi boo ko yóbbu si kaso bi léegi xale bi xañ nga ko that rights of exclusive breastfeeding so right xale yi bari na torop waaw
so let's talk about responsibilities this mom it's for you kids you out there thinking that because of child right you have to say anything or behave anyhow
because xale yi am nañ rights waaye tamit soo seetee sax UN charter bi right xale rek la wax but the African charter bi dafa wax right xale bi ak responsibility xale bi for example mu ne yow xale bi na nga respect kilifa yi waxut sa waajur yi mu ne na nga respect ñi la mag ak sa morom yi ñi nga mag ak sa morom yi ak ñoo mag sax na nga leen respect nga cëral leen because that's the beginning it's reciprocal boo ma joxee respect the tendency is that I will respect you back so respect daf ko isi ñaareel bi mu ne xale yi tamit dañ war a use utilize seen xam-xam seen mun-mun si jëm kanami family bi ak réew mi mooy they take part by utilizing their intellectual and all that potential in contributing to meaningfully into societal development te loolu gis nañ ko fi xale yi léegi dégg nañ fi di speaker of the children parliament ak yeneen oda xale yaa ngi ko def am nañ fi form nañ fi groups at a tender age yoo xam ne they were supporting the likes of the late Abdou Diatta all contributed when they were children they helped established the young people in the media and young people in the media groom a lot of children ñi nga xam ne tey they are contributing greatly the likes of Fatou Molosi at GRTS they become the face of the national television and you name them the likes of Mariama Cham who is the deputy youth coordinator at the TRRC ñoom Umi these are all people yi nga xam ne they are making gains
so
exactly si YPM bi lañ jaar so ñoom exactly
so just to ask I wanted this to come at the end, but because you mentioned it, we will talk about it now. Fan nga miti Abdou and xam nga wax nañ ma ne di Abdou Diatta bés bi dafa nekk bés boo xam ne the day of the African child du ko dee raw daf ko celebrate every year in grand style. So when did you guys meet ak naka nga gisee sa liggéey ak moom?
Abdou, may his soul rest in peace. Moom deyam bi dafa ma jàng a lot of lessons dëgg la day ndaw yi faatu dañ ma jàng a lot of lessons but that of Abdou taught me a special lesson that dañ war a yégante ndik Abdou dafa yéegoon ñeneen moo tax mu create a platform boo xam ne jox na yeneen xale yi an opportunity to speak up and he has always believed in an African child he has always believed in the potential of an African child therefore he co-founded the young people in the media to ensure that children are given the opportunity because to expose the talent of a child si beginning bi mooy mu wax jox ko opportunity pour mu wax understand so Abdou platform boobu la create te tey they gis nañ the outcome of that
ñoom ñëpp a ngi fa
moom nag wax dëgg yàlla man I knew him long time ago te tey doon na bés boo xam ne dañ war a celebrate life am dañ war a celebrate life am because moom dafa celebrate ñeneen Abdou bokk na si ñi nga xam ne they organize the first child friendly award in the Gambia fii mi nga xam ne foog naa ñoom Bakary Badji ñoo gagné woon jamono boobu noonu award ko ak some other media institutions ñoo xam ne
The
ñu ngi
All
defal
Girls
waaw
Summit.
you know the All Girls Summit tamit held at Nusrat you know ñu toppa Maud Lamine Davis di nga gis you know he wrote extensively about some of those initiatives and ñun ñu bëri xamoon nañ loolu man I met Abdou as a fine gentleman you know I used to know about him, I used to read about him when he was UNESCO appointed ambassador.
Wow.
Became also a UNICEF, you know, ambassador. I always tell people, I said, Masi Nyong Abdou, when they started traveling abroad, fekk ñun musu ñoo xalaat ne dinañ dem Senegal. So at that tender age, they started traveling.
They representing,
you know, children of this country.
Yeah.
So I met him that way, and I motivated him. I encouraged him because he has a background in finance. I encouraged him to become the finance officer of the National Youth Parliament. Then, you know, we were in the National Youth Parliament and so forth. And he became the youngest, you know, to mount that position at the time. And Abdou was one person ko xamne oyof na torop.
Wow.
Really oyof na. Abdou oyof na torop because man suma boba, you know, anytime that Abdou called me Nakeba, but I mean, Jenaba, I'm sorry to say, ñun dañ dee neglectante when we are in a situation of need. Nobody cares. But I know there are good people out there, ñi nga xam ne they will do, but it's few. The thousands of people that you are interacting with, ñi nga xam ne yaa ngi dem ak ñëw, you know, when the situation changes, everybody forgets. Only few will continue with you in that journey.
Yeah.
So Abdou pour tey suñu waxee Day of the African Child, really maa si ñoom Abdou foog ñu wax si ñoom tamit Abdou dafa contribute significantly, and Day of the African Child was one of those that Abdou will come up with an initiative to ensure that the Day of the African Child is commemorated. We've commemorated this Day of the African Child with him all throughout.
Yeah, man mun naa remember Day of the African Child boo xam ne Abdou moo ko organise. My first mobile phone foofu laa ko winee woon poetry competition la moom si boppam moo ko organise woon. I can remember around Fajara Fufunon, and we went there. We had this poetry competition, and I got a small mobile phone. I can still remember, and it was my first phone. I can even say that was the first real competition that I participated in, and that contributed to my confidence. So one way or the other, man, someone na tahaw ne Abdou really contributed because my coordinator organization be more organized. So from there, xam nga comme noko waxe speaking, so joxe xale platform. Rek yow.
Yeah,
because xale bobu dafa research.
Absolutely.
Dafa push.
Wow, bala mo ñew. And one thing he was so good at was mobilizing various resources around his end. Abdou will look at, would identify potential and bring them together.
Ñun sa QTV suñ ansumana esoña si fini.
Exactly.
How mako won mu ne ma jena ba man suma bopa Abdou contribute na si man ma buga media bi.
He said this to me, I was surprised.
Wa mu ne ma man so gisee té ma nekk si buga media ni Abdou contributed. Fatou Ilika Mloshi, Mom Tamit Abdou has contributed. So da nga gis ne all of these kids, he did contribute. Why come nuko Fally Fadera waxe on Facebook? Ñun xalé yi nañ gëna jappante. We have to come together. We have to support each other. Compete. Amuñ ben competition. Gambia bu rëy bi dañ ko mën benn nit daf ko mëna jéxal. Ñaari nit mënu ko jéxal dafa rëy. Space be is there na ku nekk def lu mu bëgg.
Abdou should have been celebrated prior to today. Because mom bala mo faatu mom dafa celebrate on ñeneen dafa ràññee seen efforts mu ne look, you know, we need to do this, but unfortunately we wait until people die and we all guilty of this. Really, we all guilty of this, including myself, because you know, in his last moments, Abdou was coming to our office, me and him, you know, because then me and so we always have this small fight. You have the mom, it just lasts for seconds, and he will say, you know, nakeba balalma mala tonya and so forth, you know, and then Abdou will always tell you balalma, and that's a frequent word that he used, balalma. Hanga sumala tonya balalma, and you know, hamna man mala tonya balalma and so forth. But you know, he is one person who also put his point, no matter what. Abdou will speak his mind, no matter what. Abdou will tell you, look, this is it. You know, and you know, again also I can attest to a lesson that we all have to be devoted to our faith as well. If you're a Muslim, you have to be devoted to your religion. As a Christian, you have to. Abdou believe in his faith as a Muslim. No matter what, no matter meeting be meeting be workshop be live in, Abdou will cut it short and then he will go and observe the prayer.
We traveled together. I can remember it was the Social Change Factory. We went together. Julie du ko def fay Jena ba yen kay la ñu julli, you know, this is something loo xam ne He's the whole package. He contributed,
Absolutely.
and at some point, he's a very religious person as well.
He's a coach.
Yeah,
I
this
call
is
him
not
a
something
coach.
we are not making up.
You
Then
know.
he's
He's
know
a coach.
about this.
He's a coach. I remember sometimes I said, Abdul, you are not dictator. No, Kese, you don't understand. You know, these children, when you are working with them, you have to ensure that also they observe A, B, and C. So he was a coach. Abdul was a coach. He was a teacher. He was all that. So situation I'm not yenen daw yo xamne tamit ñu ngi ci façon situation bobu nonu am febar nobody noticed about their situation, and they have contributed immensely to the development of other children in this country. Waru ñoo faté wante. I mean, there are people, even ñi nga xamne, just to limit yourself to ñi nga xamne sa work na ak ñom, liggéey na ak ñom, really at the moment of need we can put up, you know, things together. And I want to challenge the National Youth Council really to keep track of a profile of you know, young people, you know, they are contributing immensely in the development of, so that, you know, you want to follow through their life, their journey. Soon follow their journey. At the end of the day, ñun Gambia, this is our problem. In the football arena, happen nafa. Ay football, am na football, ñi nga xamne play nañ réew mi. Dañ febar they are sick bed desi. They couldn't have the basic support to go for treatment in Dakar. In wrestling, the same thing. In culture, other cultural activities, the same thing happened now. They devoted all their time. The only time, you know, yesterday I wrote about, you know, few of these people. They are late and they are correct. The likes of Sisi. I mean, all of a sudden, everybody knows about Sisi when she died. And she was doing extremely well.
While she was alive.
While she was alive.
Yes.
While she was alive, she was doing extremely well.
Yes.
But we only have to wait until these people die.
Yeah, we have
Abdul
to
was
change
doing
the
the
narrative.
same thing. We all forgot, we all neglected, we all tamga. So we forgot Febarna.
Yeah,
and just like somebody said at the some people were even calling Abdul Faladika. So these things are abnormal. So we have to ensure we celebrate
we
each
have
other.
to thank YPM.
Absolutely.
Because hamnane YPM ñu since they were little, they did mobilize themselves to make sure that Abdul is fine. Anti Adelaide Source
Absolutely, yeah.
ñu ngi la gërëm di la santa. ñu dañ la soxla ci dëkk bi, yal na la fi Yàlla yaagal ba pare ñu am ñi nga xam ne ñu ngi mel ni yow tamit.
And all of us have to be anti-Adelaide.
We have to be anti-Adelaide.
We all have to be
her. Xale yépp seet leen ci mbiram.
Taxawaay bu mu jël ñu waroon a jël taxawaay.
ñoo ko waroon a jël wax dëgg.
Moom gisoon na démb gis na tey. So moom taxawaay bu mu jël ñu ñoo fa waroon a taxaw tey ba moom mu ñoo gërëm. Waaye ñun tey waruñu woon a taxaw di ko gërëm.
wax dëgg
moom moo waroon a taxaw di ñu gërëm.
te Aunty Adelaide Socé tamit young people who are watching, if you don't know her, she's the deputy chairperson of the TRRC. You can simply go on Facebook or LinkedIn or anywhere and check her profile. There's a lot you'll be able to learn from her, and she also contributed during the struggle ñi nga xam ne dañ waroon a seek asylum. So this is a lady bi nga xamante ne she's been really contributing te ñun ñëpp mën nañ ko use as a role model ñu seet si moom. So Kese, I mean, due to time constraints, we cannot go any further, but just give us your final words to all these children out there, you know, in relation to their rights, responsibilities, or anything that you might think is meaningful for them to take with them all the time when they're going to school, when they're at home, or whatever they're doing in relation to the Day of the African Child.
I think I just want to use this moment that there are people who may not be children, but have really champion the cause of children down the line. I think special homage to QTV. Really, since the coming into being of QTV, we've seen significant improvement, and other media outlets. I don't want to be biased because I'm at QTV, so
and
I
our
really
very own has also
you know,
been promoting children.
I have to be confined to what you people have been doing. Really, since I've granted QTV a lot of interviews about issues of children here and there, and the stories have been very rich. Looking at child labor stories yesterday, they have been very rich, and this is what we want. The media can change the narrative.
Yes.
The media can change the narrative. The media can portray stories of children in a manner and within the ethics of you know, I mean, the profession. So Day of the African Child is not a celebration, it's a commemoration. We are reflecting on the plights of an African child, but also remembering those children who died in Soweto and the cause. We want to call on the Minister of Basic and Secondary Education to look at those resolutions
Exactly.
that comes from, you know, the various engagements. Some years ago, about 5 years ago, CPA did a commemoration. The theme centered on education. It centered on education, and it came with a resolution. And knowing the current Minister of Basic and Secondary Education, I'm very hopeful that with engagements, you know, she will be, because she has championed issues of corporal punishment, issues of prohibiting, you know, child marriage and corporal punishment in schools. And again, also, we remember the Gambia Teachers Union, and we call on them to double up their effort, redouble their efforts in ensuring exactly the children's ministry. We know a lot of initiatives are coming. We need institutional reform to be able to respond to needs of children. And I'm aware that the Ministry for Children, Women and Social Welfare is really into institutional reform. The Ministry of Justice Child Rights Unit, the Police Child Welfare Unit. We need these institutions to be functional. These are the mechanisms, these are the machineries that respond to issues, but they don't have the capacity.
So
the state has to ensure, as a means to, providing for rights of children, we have to see those institutions being well resourced to be able to function.
Yeah, so thank you so much, KCD. Sayumala Oyerek, you come. You know, I can remember we had a discussion like this last year, and you're here again. How much Mala Oyo Tsakuma o? Because I mean, you're always because you're always there to make sure rights of the children, mama, and knowing their responsibilities. Yangi funeka di wah hamga, and I hope that program bini sunyayi jange na in relation to rights and responsibilities. Buñ ko confused na hejna foreign idea la hejna rights word be do all of hejna waye so sete lum umba dine sa wax na some of those rights nga xamantene mom lañ put in place. So ma ngi hope rek ne suñu yaay ak suñu papa yi fofu nonu janga nañ lu bari ci program buñ fi def ni. But I know this will not be the last time we will have you back here, because children's rights and responsibilities, we can't finish it within minutes. This is something that is very broad, so we are hoping that we'll have you back here. Thank you so much for coming. We will take a short break. When we come back, we will get to wrap it up. Viewers, that is all we have for you in this edition of the Youth Dialogue. But before I take a leave, just to remind you that we're on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. It's simple, QTV Gambia. They're right in front of you. Take it and communicate to us if you have any recommendations or comments. My personal social media handles are as well in front of you. Take it, send me a message, give me some of the recommendations that you have. We will surely pen them down, if not even implement them. This is your program. We're here to serve you. We're here to put in front of you what you really need, and that is what we do, obviously, weekly. So before I take a leave, just to remind you that this outfit is provided by Rugis Creation. I love it. I feel so comfortable in it. Her numbers are right in front of the screen. Take it, call her. She'll provide you an outfit as nice as this, or even better. She's not very far. She's just right there along the Manjai Highway, guys. It's very accessible. You can just walk there, and she will, of course, provide you an outfit as nice as this, or even better. Till I come your way next week with other young people doing extremely well across the country, stay tuned.